A man was killed fighting a wildfire in Oregon on Thursday. His name was Jason Ensign, 47 years old, from Klamath Falls. He was operating a Caterpillar dozer for the Green Diamond Timber Resource Company on the Wrights Spring Fire. He was working with crews in the Yowie Plateau area, building dozer lines and improving access ahead of the advancing fire. That work is done closest to the active edge. The operator is always where the fire has not reached yet, but will. Klamath County Sheriff Shane Mitchell described what happened. During those operations, the fire experienced unexpected and rapid growth associated with a weather event, resulting in extreme fire behavior. The specific type of event has not been officially named. On fires this size, it is most often a fire whirl. Here is how one forms. The fire heats the air to enormous temperatures and it rises fast. Cold air is pulled in from below and from the sides to replace it. If there is wind or broken terrain, those flows begin to rotate. The rotation feeds itself. The whirl pulls in oxygen, the oxygen feeds the flames drive more hot air upward. What you get is a rotating column of fire and superheated gas. It rises from the ground rather than descending from a cloud like an ordinary tornado. Inside, it can reach 1,000 degrees Celsius. A whirl like that throws burning material well off to the side and ignites everything around it in seconds. Water will not put it out. It evaporates before it arrives. What is known is that conditions changed abruptly, and the fire moved far faster than anyone expected. The rapidly changing conditions cut Jason's dozer off from his escape route to a safety zone. A safety zone is a place chosen in advance, usually already burned or stripped of vegetation, where crews retreat if the fire turns. At about 4:30 in the afternoon, crews realized a dozer was missing and began searching. The intensity of the fire kept them from reaching that section at first. When conditions eased, searchers used data from his phone and statements from witnesses to narrow the area. Late that night, personnel from the sheriff's office and the Oregon Department of Forestry located the dozer. The machine was extensively damaged by fire. Sheriff Mitchell said this: "Behind every helmet, every engine, and every piece of heavy equipment is a person who went to work expecting to come home." On Friday, a procession of vehicles drove into Klamath Falls. It left Chiloquin at about 2 in the afternoon. The fire he was working has now burned 8,722 acres. It grew by 6,700 in a single day. Containment is still 0. 316 people are assigned to it. There was a second incident the next day in Utah. On Friday morning, a Sikorsky Skycrane, a heavy lift helicopter, went down at around 10 near Richfield. It came down on the southern edge of the Widemouth 2 fire. 2 people were aboard. Both of them were killed. That confirmation came in this morning's National Situation Report from the National Interagency Fire Center. The wording is this: on August 7th, a helicopter on contract with the United States Forest Service was involved in an accident. It happened on the Widemouth 2 fire outside of Kanosh, Utah. The pilot and 1 crew member were fatally injured. The report adds that the wildland fire community extends its condolences to the friends and family of the deceased. It was one of 7 helicopters working that fire. Flying conditions were reported as normal. The aircraft was working a section with steep terrain. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said that fighting wildfires is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. He called it a painful reminder of the risks these people take to protect the rest of us. 2 names have not been released. That is 3 people lost on American fire lines in 2 days. The Widemouth 2 fire has now burned 165 square miles and is 19% contained. More than 600 people are working it. At least 6 structures have been destroyed. The crash is being investigated by the National Transportation Safety Board. The largest wildfire burning in the United States grew by 51,416 acres in a single day. That is the Big Grass Fire on the Oregon and Idaho border, 25 miles southwest of Jordan Valley. 442,316 acres, 691 square miles. That is larger than the city of Houston. Containment is 41%, up from 39. 1,221 people are assigned, 16 crews, 95 engines, 8 helicopters, $30.6 million spent so far. Full containment is estimated for the 22nd of August. And here is the number that separates this fire from every other one in this report. Structures destroyed, 0. 442,000 acres, and not one building lost. That is what it looks like when a fire this size burns through open rangeland instead of through towns. The fire started on the 23rd of July from a natural cause. It has since crossed the Owyhee River and pushed into Idaho. The Idaho National Guard has been deployed to it. Governor Brad Little declared a fire disaster emergency for part of the state. Level 3. Go now evacuation orders remain in place for Pleasant Valley, South Mountain, and Jordan Valley. 3 people have been injured on this fire. Fire behavior includes wind-driven runs, short-range spotting, and isolated tree torching. Under gusty conditions, homes and critical infrastructure remain threatened. The National Weather Service has a rare warning in effect for eastern Oregon today. Attached to today's red flag warning is a tag reading particularly dangerous situation. The Weather Service calls that tag very rare. Their wording is direct. Any fire that starts will catch and spread quickly. The warning runs from 11 in the morning to 11 at night. Peak critical conditions fall between 2 and 8 in the evening. Relative humidity in the lower elevations and the eastern mountains will drop as low as 15%. Wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour. Temperatures in the 90s, above 100 in places. Pendleton is forecast at 98 to 100. Overnight humidity recovery is poor. Normally, the fuels take moisture back at night, and that gives crews a safer window to work. That is not happening right now. The fires stay active around the clock. The city of Bend has banned all recreational fires and shooting for the duration of the warning. Briquette, propane, and pellet cooking appliances are excluded, but officials are asking for extreme caution with those as well. The Weather Service added one specific piece of advice for drivers. Check that no chains are dragging on the ground. They throw sparks. Forecasters are also watching for dry lightning. That is a storm where the rain evaporates before it reaches the ground, but the lightning still arrives. Those storms are possible over southeast California and the southern Great Basin. There is no meaningful rain in the forecast for any of the fire areas. Improvement comes tomorrow when the winds begin to ease. Along the Idaho and Oregon border, firefighters were pulled off the line because of threats from local residents. An unusual line appeared in an update on the Tartar fire. Command wrote that the safety of their firefighters is paramount. Crews had been pulled out of the Devil's Elbow area and other portions along the east side of the fire. They were being harassed and threatened, and that crews will disengage if such actions continue. The conflict is about a method of firefighting. It is called a burnout, or a firing operation. Crews deliberately set fire to a strip of vegetation ahead of the advancing flames, burning off the fuel before the main fire arrives. When the fire reaches that strip, there is nothing left to burn, and it stops. The method works, but it has a cost. What burns is the same grass that ranchers depend on to feed livestock for the year. People watch their grazing land being set on fire on purpose, and they see it as their livelihood being destroyed by the government. One official said some of the threats were serious enough that they had to pull firefighters out of that area. After that, command announced there would be no further firing operations on the Tartar fire. Similar confrontations happened on the Fox fire, on the Oregon side of the border. Reporters asked what would happen if the fire did move toward structures or livestock belonging to someone who had driven crews off. The answer was that they were not sure. It has not happened yet. The Roe Creek complex in Wheeler County is the second largest fire in the state. 357,895 acres, 73% contained. It started on the 15th of July from a lightning strike. 1,746 people are working it. 32 structures have been lost. Costs are $51.5 million. Highway 26 is closed between Prineville and Mitchell because of the intensity of operations there. There is no way through. There is good news on that fire. Growth came in below what was predicted during last weekend's critical fire weather. Lines held in many places. Fire officials say the threat to structures has been significantly reduced. The Coleman Creek fire east of Ventura is at 308,721 acres. Containment has reached 82%. The fire actually shrank slightly overnight as mapping was refined. Crews are being released from it. The grasshopper fire in the Mount Hood National Forest is at 49,645 acres and 23%. It added 6,400 acres in a day. Mount Hood Meadows has been under a Level 3 Go Now order. Check current status with Clackamas County Emergency Management. The Hagen Fire is in the Umatilla National Forest, 26 miles east of Pendleton. 42,699 acres, 11% contained. Numerous residences and energy infrastructure are directly threatened. 781 people are assigned. The Paradise Fire in the same forest is at 1,664 acres, with no containment. Homes and communication infrastructure are threatened. Now, the fires that are moving in the right direction. Akawa Butte near Sisters is at 99% containment on 27,000 acres. Essentially finished, Coyote south of Post is at 89%. Bench near Warm Springs, which was a major story, is at 84% on 67,000 acres, with 13 structures lost. Hat east of Burns is at 99% on 42,000 acres, effectively under control. Here is what is happening on the ground for residents across central and eastern Oregon. Thousands of people are under some level of evacuation order across multiple counties. In the Warm Springs area, hundreds of members of the Confederated Tribes faced closures that blocked both ends of their reservation during evacuation attempts. Resident Alicia Clickup told OPB that her family packed to leave, but the highway was closed on each end. They were stuck through the early morning hours. On transportation, a 30-mile stretch of Interstate 84 between Baker City and Ontario has seen closures and delays. Portions of Highway 20 and Highway 26 are also affected. On power, the Hagen, Fox, Coleman Creek, and Big Grass fires are directly threatening energy infrastructure. Outages are possible across several communities. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office has warned residents that power may go out in some areas. On structures lost, the Roe Creek complex has destroyed 32 buildings. Bench has lost 13. Second Flat has lost 7. The East Evans Creek Road fire near Rogue River is 15,000 acres at 98% containment. It carries the highest suppression cost of any fire in Oregon, $68.3 million. Here is the national picture. 144 large incidents, 3,535,000 acres inside their perimeters. More than 30,600 people are working fires across America, an increase of 504 in one day. 9 new large fires were reported overnight, down from 13 the day before. They are spread across Washington, Idaho, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Oklahoma, and Texas. More than 19,000 people are working in the Northwest region alone. 54 large incidents there, covering 2,486,000 acres. That is nearly 2/3 of every wildland firefighter in the country. 2 military air tankers from the Air Force Reserve out of Colorado are based at Klamath Falls. 2 more from the California Air National Guard are at Redding. An incident management team of 115 people and 59 fireline personnel have arrived from Australia and New Zealand. FEMA has issued a fire management assistance grant to Oregon for the 5th time this year. It covers up to 75% of eligible suppression costs. 5 such grants in one season for one state is an extraordinary number. In Washington, the Sinlahekin fire near Tonasket has burned 126,940 acres and is 28% contained. The Kaiser Canyon fire on Colville Lands is at 137,616 acres and 54%. 47 structures have been lost there, the heaviest structure loss of any fire in the region. In Utah, the Widemouth 2 fire has reached 106,450 acres and 24% containment. It added nearly 7,000 acres in a day. In Idaho, the Tartar fire near Weiser is at 158,000 acres and 82% contained. 10 structures have been lost. In California, the Gann fire in Calaveras County is at 10,374 acres and 47% contained. It did not grow at all in the last 24 hours. 22 structures have been destroyed there, up from 18 yesterday. Here is what to do based on all of this. If you are under a Level 3 Go Now order, leave immediately. Do not wait. Do not go back for belongings. If you are under Level 2, be set. Pack your bag now. Load the car and be ready to leave within minutes. If you are under Level 1, be ready. Know your evacuation route, monitor alerts, and take the warning seriously. On air quality, keep windows and doors closed. Run air conditioning on recirculate if you can. Wear an N95 or KN95 mask if you have to go outside. Children, elderly residents, and anyone with heart or lung conditions should stay indoors while advisories are in effect. Check road conditions before any travel in eastern Oregon. Interstate 84 east of Baker City, Highway 26 through Central Oregon, and Highway 20 are all potentially affected. Do not drive around road closure barriers. Fire behavior changes within minutes. A road that looks passable can turn hazardous very fast. No campfires, no fireworks, no outdoor burning of any kind in affected areas. The Oregon Department of Forestry has said it plainly. Any small ember right now could start the next large wildfire. Do not park on dry grass. Keep spark arresters on all equipment. Do not drag chains or metal across dry ground. If you are in an evacuation zone, follow the orders. Let the firefighters do their job and keep yourself safe. If these daily updates are useful to you, subscribing helps more people find them. Thank you to the crews on the line tonight from Oregon, from across the country, from Australia and New Zealand. They are working in genuinely dangerous conditions. We will be back tomorrow with the new numbers.